a courtesy warning to the inhabitants of planet Earth. This is to let you all know that, again, our behavior on Earth has put us in dire straits. The Earth has targeted the human species because of our disrespect for her and because of our disrespect for each other. And because of the fact that the Earth is a living entity that is very, very wise and way superior, but it's almost like a flea to a dog, okay, or a mosquito to you. When you see a mosquito sucking blood out of the vein, you eventually don't smack the hell out of it. This is what's going on now. Parasites are starting to get smacked. Alright? Now, I'm saying this to you because I want you to understand something. I am not in no way, shape, form, or fashion trying to implement any type of continuance of the hatred and the corruption and the oppression that's on the earth right now. What I'm doing is showing everyone what part we all play in contributing to the establishment of the system. If every corrupt entity on the planet was eradicated tonight, the mindsets of the people on the planet will still keep the machine alive. You do not need the startup process started over. The machine is running. It will continue to run until you turn it off in your world yourself. And the only way you can do that is by being honest. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But you guys can spare me a minute, right? Have to be honest with yourself. Okay, you do. The last segment we was watching, we left with the boat going into the water. So that's the reason why I left with the boat going into the water and came right back here to this fire, back in Hawaii, because that's what I wanted to be talking about. Now I want you to listen to what this man says right here. And then I want you to remember to what I said about the world having sacred ground. And people were told, this is sacred ground. We never built here because this is the land of the ancestors. And we have been forbidden to do anything. The Hawaiian people had shrines with stones that they would stack on each other. I've seen someone when I was there. And this is really the truth. Those stones I was telling you about right now. When I was there, I saw those stones in a lot of places. It was obvious they had built shrines and shrouds. And they were telling everyone that you shouldn't walk over here. That's why the rocks be put there. And the rocks even sometimes on the ground be laid out in a circle formation to let you know where the perimeter was of the shroud, or the shrine. I swear you, it never failed. If black people come to the island, they respect that. When they see it, they're spiritual enough to understand, oh, I'm going there. They can see it. And then when they see the rocks and everything, and they see the stone shroud, they can understand through their observing of that what the Hawaiian people was trying to get at. And the Hawaiian people be standing around looking at you to see if you respect that. Do you know, for some reason, the spirituality in the Caucasian people makes them overlook that all the time. They never see the barrier to that place that the Hawaiian people had implemented. But any other people with melanin would see it right away, and they could be walking toward it, and they'll just stop right in their track, like, oh shit, this is a shroud. They would know, spiritually. But the white people have to be told, bro, you shouldn't be in there. Or I just wanted to put a flower up here and take a picture with my girl. But don't you see the rocks on the ground right there? You did see all the rocks that made a circle around that, didn't you? Well, did your mind perceive that maybe those rocks were kind of like, see, white people would need yellow caution and signs and shit that says, don't go in there and beware and the police will shoot your ass, all that stuff. Nothing natural. And I'm not saying that to be mean, I'm just showing you, like I said, observing report. I observed that when I was in Hawaii. And it's not that the Europeans were trying to be rude, I don't think it's just
stupid as hell.
Just overlook the intricacies
arrogant.
I
ain't gonna fuck them Hawaiians. I paid $16,000 to come here this summer, and I'm gonna do what I want because I paid.
Come here and do something, and you say, well, they should have learned, and oh, same thing. All right, listen to this. Sacred land is sacred land. You can't take land from people and expect the earth not to retaliate. When the earth gives something to someone, she means it. And now when the universe gives someone authority or something, but then now that's a whole different, because see, the universe means the earth is involved with that. So if the universe say, well, you know, they've been fucking up on earth, let's send this guy down there and let him fix earth, then I mean it's final. Especially if this guy brings a fleet of starships with him. Now see, I'm just saying that because I know a lot of people don't be saying, well, he's a nigga. No. See, that's where you're gonna make a mistake.
You better get your green light.
That's thinking is what messes everything up in the first place. Now let's listen to this.
The lava flowing from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano has destroyed the last remaining home in a neighborhood under siege. The red-hot lava snaked down a hill, burning up everything along the way. It finally destroyed the house where the owner had lived for 30 years. Lava had already destroyed other homes and roads. Now the entire subdivision is virtually wiped out.
What indication at all that there would be this come down? Well, 30 years. It's the second house I've had in this subdivision, so I've been on this mountain about 40 years. I think it's about the end of it. I don't think anybody will be living up here anymore.
Now you know me. I heard what he said about that snake. He said it, excuse me, came down the hill like a snake. The snake down that hill, or it sneaked down the hill. Let's see what they said. That was pretty interesting to me, that they would say snake or sneak. Either way, it's the action of fire. But it's not really sneaky, but it do creep, like somebody being sneaky, you know what I mean? But it's really bold and out front with the smoke and the light and everything. You can't say that's somebody trying to be sneaky when you make that stuff that obviously illuminated as well as able to be smelled, okay? And then you have heat too, so a fire is not trying to be sneaky. Actually, a fire is just really bold and right in your face like, okay, here I come. This is me. It's on and cracking. That's pretty much what fire say. Now you watch this video, again, you know me, because I want you to see how the fire actually snakes along. And think about that serpent power energy that I tell you that's in the ground under the personification of the goddess Sekhmet and the goddess Hathor. The goddess Hathor represents our universe encapsulation. That means that wherever there's anything, it's all contained in this universal uterus that I always talk about. And that universal uterus is Hathor. It's the Greek name that was plagiarized and stolen from the ancient Kemetic goddess whose name is Heteru. Heteru is the representation of the cow goddess that you see lying over the man. See, when they plagiarized the story from Egypt, the reason why everything is synonymous with the cow is because of the cow's udder and the ability for the mother cow lactating heavily to produce enough milk to feed a calf that is growing so rapidly. See, a baby calf, every person that know anything about the growth cycle of a cow knows that a cow, from a baby, it puts on weight so rapidly and so quick. And the reason why is because that milk that the mother produces for her offspring is chock full of body waste, mad fats from the grasses and stuff she's been eating, that's full of insects and everything you can imagine. Feces too sometimes if they're not paying attention. But all this stuff they eat turns into all type of microscopic poisons and stuff that's in their body that their body gets rid of. What does not lead the body through the natural process of elimination ends up in the udder. That's for the child, because they know that child needs to grow up and build muscle and body fat real fast. This is the reason why human beings should not be consuming milk, because it's not made for people, it's made for calves. And if you are not a calf, you should not be drinking it. If you want to drink milk, it should be human milk or some type of synthetic milk, which is still bad because now you're drinking something that's processed. And I'm guilty of that myself, but sometimes in this world you have to, I mean, it's everywhere. Some way you're going to do something that's detrimental because that's the way our world is. Our world is contaminated. Real simple. point is that Heru, being the universal mother, is always coming on the depiction of a cow. Now, you always can see horns on all of these ancient Kemetic goddesses. They always have horns, as well as the males will have zoomorphic personification with horns on their head as well, like the god Amun. I'm sure I'm right. I'm not even going to try to say which one it is, but I'm sure that you all can see the picture in your head. Even the Baphomet theme that the Illuminati uses to perpetuate their devil worship is a plagiarized icon that was taken from the ancient Kemetic, and you can see the realms in there. From the realm, meaning the male being able to sire many, all fertility, all abundance, all recycle, regeneration. That's all it means. They plagiarized that and made it wrong. Now they gave you Jesus born in a manger, and every time you see Jesus born in a manger, what does he have? The sun disk over his head, which is the same sun disk you see with all the ancient Kemetic gods and goddesses. They get out to Jesus, put it and throw it in there with him too. Then they give you the star of a set. You'll see that in there with him. And then to show you my story is true, they would throw the cow in there too, and you see the cow in the manger. And the cow is in there looking at Jesus too. So see, they plagiarized all that stuff from the ancient Kemetic story of the child Heru being born to the goddess of Set. And later the story left Kemet and was in Ethiopia, which it was probably in Ethiopia first because Kemet came from Ethiopia. So the people who went into Kemet actually were the people who left Ethiopia. So the way I'm saying it is that the version of Yeshua being picked up, being born in Ethiopia in a cave, not in Jerusalem, in no manger. They stole it. Now see, there was the personification that came first with the ancient Kemetics, with the goddess Aset and her son Heru. And then that's where the whole suckling thing comes from, with the child sitting on the mother's suckling. And then later became the story of Yeshua. The same story with his mother, the goddess, and the birth of him. But this was the Ethiopia version, but it was still synonymous with the Kemetic version. The dramatic change of it all was when the story by the Europeans came along, where the only Immaculate Conception that held any true barrier after that was theirs, because they claimed the title of this being the only personification of God ever on earth, and the only person that can claim to be that. Well, guess what? It's not true. Alright, we're going to move on with this. I want you to watch the Serpentine fire. Watch how I tell you this energy is what's in the earth and what permeates from the earth. And the sunlight goes through the top of your head, through your body, through your feet. A complete conducive right into the ground. And at the same time, it comes back through the ground, goes back up through your body, goes back up out your head, and back up to the sun. All the time. All the time, that's what's going on. I just thought I'd share that with you.
The lava flowing from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano has destroyed the last remaining home in a neighborhood under siege. The red-hot lava snaked down a hill, burning up everything along the way. It finally destroyed the house where the owner had lived for 30 years. Lava had already destroyed other homes and roads. Now the entire subdivision is virtually wiped out.
With no indication at all that there'd be this coming down, let alone for 30 years. This is the second house I've had in this subdivision, so I've been on this mountain about 40 years. I think it's about the end of it. I don't think anybody would have there.
See, should have listened to them Hawaiians. See, that's where he messed up at. They were like, no, no,